I'll go ahead and call this August 29th, 2018 call board meeting to order at 5:10 p.m. First item will be to approve the agenda. I hear a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
Mr. Lyons, second by Ms. Penley.
No.
Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Byron will be late. So he is voting. Motion carries. Next item will be the year in review. Dr. Wilson.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to read all the slides to you, but I didn't want to go through them. We've got quite a few, but if you have any questions or anything, just slow me down, stop me. I don't think that's ever been a problem with any of y'all. Questions, something. We're looking at a year in review in several areas. Our district data, we'll start with it. We're going to start with some of the accomplishments so far for the district. District collaborative select and adopt new science and social studies resources, including our online sources as well as lab materials and some grade bands. Procedures and protocols for ELL students in order to better serve the needs. We've created professional learning communities, gifted and media specialists. We increased the number of high school course offerings at the junior high level. And we've improved our teacher mentor program for this school year. We've also, the federal programs in special education, we went through successful function monitoring from DOE this year, back in March. Out of that, we had the year before, or the monitoring before, we had in 2014, we had 8 financial findings and 23 program findings. This year, we only had a total of 4 program findings with minor, and we took care of those. Title I, we were 100% did not have any findings at all in that particular program. And did such a great job with our monitoring everything. Sunita was invited to come down and present at the State Federal Program Conference on best practices. So we're very proud of that and the job that she did. We've also added our new Director of Community Engagement to improve communications within the district and help write grants. We began working with Highland Rivers last year. We actually wound up with 1 counselor last year from Highland, but they have promised this year that we'll have 3 counselors. We've also have the process of developing a new district strategic plan with a new mission and our belief statement. And this process of being adopted, we're going to hand those out to you tonight for your review, so that maybe at our next board meeting we can adopt those if everything's fine with it. A little bit of then and now. Just to let you know, we had professional learning, 21 elementary teachers attending building competent mathematicians. We also had 6 academic coaches doing their coaching endorsement with RESA. We had 7 elementary teachers begin a 2-year process on earning their math endorsements at the elementary level. 29 educators attended the Georgia Technical Conference. We had 16 leaders participating in GLSI this past year. All the schools teamed up with Page in their 2-year assistant principal teacher leader program. We had 5 high school teachers earn their teacher leader endorsements. 13 educators participated in the Aspiring Leaders program out of RESA. All of our assistant principals and principals participated in the Principal and AP Academies via the RESA group. And we've had many of them sign back up this year. All schools have teams for Page's 2-year Principal Teacher Leader Network program that just kicked off. We're sending 16 more district leaders to GLSI again this year for leadership. And Pickens County will be hosting the first North Georgia Google Summit in September for all the educators in our district and surrounding areas. We're also very proud that we've been selected to host a multi-state world language consortium in October. This is the first one they've offered in the state, over here in Pickens.
What does world language mean?
It's out of the State Department over the world. It's all the different languages that we teach across the state.
It's not technology.
No, it's language
Actual.
people coming together. Technology. Due to the overwhelming teacher desire for technology and training, we've actually had 4 day-long classes offered in June on Google training, and all classes were full capacity. 72 educators from Pickens have registered for the North Georgia Google Summit. Ms. Livator has been leading professional learning communities to enhance the effective use of technology with Google. Promethean board training is still upgoing and continuing in all the schools, and Ms. Long is taking care of that. And all of our teachers have new websites supported by their to support their communication with the community. We've also, our cameras and sound systems are being installed in all the classrooms and should be finished up within the next week. And we have professional development days shortly thereafter coming up. Looking at some of our test scores, this is our end of grade for grades 3 through 8 for ELA. We have the graph, and then we also have the same thing underneath it in chart form. The state actually, the 2, 3, and 4 is actually considered passing, but we're focusing mostly on 3 and 4, which are the top quadrants, the distinguished and proficient. And it shows the last 3 years. And for ELA, for 3rd through 8, we're looking at, we're pretty flat line. Maybe a percentage point drop in proficient and distinguished from 2016-17. So we've got some plans for that. Mathematics from 2016-17 to 17-18. This is also grades 3 through 8. Small increases in distinguished and proficient. And of course you do want the developing and the beginner to go down. And so they're headed in the right direction, but of course nowhere where they need to be yet. This is for our gifted students, grades 3 through 8 ELA. And this is pretty flat line. Not much movement from last year to this year with our gifted. This is our ELA for economically disadvantaged, grades 3 through 8. And just looking over last year's data versus this past testing data, there again, we're not much movement either way. Math for economically disadvantaged, there again is same kind of data. We did drop, let's see, we actually in math and economically disadvantaged, the distinguished, we went up 4 percentage points. But everything else is pretty much equal, flat line. ELA with students with disabilities, this is an area which we desperately need to improve upon. There again, the data has been pretty stagnant over the last several years. Math with students with disabilities, same thing. Not much movement either way. Some of our last year's accomplishments, and we'll get into some corrective stuff in a minute, but our last year's accomplishments, we did increase milestones a little bit there. The students scoring proficient and distinguished in ELA and Math overall for Hill City, Tate, and Harmony. Our classrooms that implemented personalized learning did show some significant growth in some areas in Math, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. All of our elementary schools did, we had a number of our people receiving Amicalola and Bent-Tree grants. Harmony and had the ETC Spelling Bee winner, and we'll have a list of those for you in a minute. Hill City won the County Reading Bowl and placed first in the region. We had State Social Studies Fair winner at Hill City. Tate had 2 County Social Studies winners, and 2 of our teachers won the Ignite grant from ETC, one of them being $10,000 and the other one was a $500 grant. We also, our young authors, we had several district winners, and you can see those, how they rank out there. HES won the Math Bowl. HCES won a grant from Rotary for the Little Free Library. Hill City, Harmony, and Tate also were recognized by the state as Distinguished One Schools of, oh gracious, what was it? What? It was closing the gap, but what did they call it? It was,
Title I report school.
yeah, it was Title I Distinguished Schools in the area of, they called it something else, but it was closing the gap.
Beating the odds.
Beating the odds, thank you. We also started at, Hill City had a fine arts night for music, art, poetry, pottery, and drama all together that night. Hill City and Tate started some morning programs, running, yoga, knitting, art, a few things for our students. All elementary schools had student leadership and safety teams. We also had an annual ESOL extravaganza, which I would highly recommend going to. It's pretty interesting. JMS and PCMS also, looking at those. JMS started some personalized learning in the areas of math, and they raised the math achievements in 6th and 7th grade. PCMS has, for the 3rd time, been designated as the National School to Watch on the Lighthouse School to Watch Award. PCMS also had a 5-star climate rating. JMS provided students an opportunity to enroll in 4 high school accredited classes, and PCMS had given the opportunity for 3 high school classes for credit, which we're increasing that this year. Some concerns. These are areas that we're concerned about, and then in a moment I'll get some action steps with those concerns. Students not performing at the desired levels on ELA. Develop more of a focus on reading and lexile levels of all grade levels and grade bands. Emphasize reading and writing across the curriculum to increase focus on all grades levels to support stronger foundational reading skills. Students are not performing at desired levels in math also. To expand the use of personalized learning in math, and we have expanded that elementary, middle, junior, and high school this year. We're also implementing the STAR Math Benchmark program, and we're increasing the rigor while teaching to the intent of the standards. Some of our action steps, we have implemented FastForWord, which is a language development program that has had some great success with language development. Originally, it was created for out of California with some neurosurgeons for brain damaged people, and they discovered that it actually really works well for students that are lacking language skills. It's actually a remapping of the brain. It's connecting to the synapses, and it taps into the physical learning, and they've had a great deal of success with it. And so we are implementing that.
How old does that apply to?
Some of it can go on up quite a bit. I know one year at Hill City when we had a thing on it, and the teachers that went through the program, a lot of them couldn't hear some of the sounds. In that morning by lunchtime, they were hearing the sounds that they couldn't hear earlier. So it's pretty neat. We're also going to increase the effective use of technology for instructional purposes, utilizing contracted services for ELA and Math. We're able to go out and contract with some of our area retired teachers and some of our master teachers and bring them back in, and that's been successful at several grade levels. The Georgia DOE also has the achievement level descriptors, and we're going to ensure that we are using those because those are the ones that they use to help grade the kids on the test. So we need to teach them the vocabulary and increase the rigor in that we've not been doing that well with. We're also implementing mindset program to create a positive learning culture in our school system, and we'll be utilizing cameras and audio systems in our classrooms to enhance the instruction, and we're expanding this year the use of personalized learning. Some more of our action steps, we're increasing the professional and learning communities within the schools, enhanced focus on reading and writing across the curriculum. We're doing tutoring before and after school now instead of the last couple of years it was only after school. And we're developing common assessments across all grade levels and analyze the data to be determined to use for the strengths and weaknesses. Continue grade level collaboration and professional learning, implementation of new benchmarking and progress monitoring programs using our STAR Math, increase parent and student understanding of our CTAE, pathways, academic sequencing, dual enrollment and graduation requirements, and we plan on doing that from junior high up. PHS, some areas of concerns there, we had a number of our sophomores taking 3 end-of-course tests as freshmen, and some of them were not doing quite as well, so we've made some changes there. We also need the reduction of the fail classes by freshman students, where we've actually come up with a transition class that they take with 3 days is to help with some remediation, but it's also to help with some soft skills and some study habits and things to be successful the rest of their high school career. We are allowing more time for students to become acclimated and support their transition into high school, and that's part of that same class. And we're also looking at the time between content classes, whereas make sure that you don't take one math class first semester of this year and your second math class first semester of next year. So we're trying to look at the time in between those sequence classes.
Is that transition class, is that credit class? What is it called?
Yes, it is.
Credit class.
Yeah, we make sure that we follow the descriptors, and it is a state-approved accredited class. Some of our action steps is we're teaching algebra as a year-long class in a 45-minute segment, which we call skinnies. Develop common assessment and analyze data to determine strengths and weaknesses. We're doing more and more common assessments with our teachers. And we're implementing personalized learning, which was very successful at JMS last couple of years. We're increasing the use of the ADL also at the high school. And there again, we're looking at resequencing the courses to reduce the number of EOC sequence for our freshmen. And we created a 9th grade transition class to enhance their success. We also want to increase the awareness of students and parents of AP and Dual Enrollment students. Increase student and parent information meetings about post-secondary requirements and opportunities. We offer this year 2 new pathways. One's in our sports medicine and one's public safety pathways. And to utilize that high school transition class also to create awareness of post-secondary opportunities and requirements in the 9th grade. We're really also going to start it down in the junior high so that parents and students can plan better together for the entire high school career and then post-secondary. And we'll continue to offer SAT and ACT practice. Just some of the accomplishments. Now, a lot of these I'm not going to read because it gets quite lengthy, but I want you to look through them. We got a number of national FFA organization winners. Of course, we did have a first place in the state and in the nation. Our FCCLA had several state winners, engineering and technology. There's our social study fair winners from Hill City. Our Jasper Middle School Spelling Bee winner. And then our geography, best in class in geography. CTI awards and winners. TSA, whoops, that was pretty quick. TSA Association, their awards and winners. And our chapter was identified as one of the top 10 chapters in the nation in this legacy program. And there's our ETC Spelling Bee winner. We had district and regional winners in our Young Authors program, which is used to, we didn't have a lot of participation in that program, and so we've increased not only the participation, but we've also increased our regional winners. Title I Reward School Honors, Lighthouse to Watch, Pickens County Middle School, and Miss Tracy Buckingham's one that won the Ignite grant.
What's going to happen with the lighthouse now that we've realigned the?
We got a phone call into them asking them that
Okay.
question.
It's good. They're gonna be able to maintain it even though it's 7/8. That was taken care of, and that recently came through Ms. Brownell, got most of that information recently.
Awesome.
That would all still be able to maintain as long as a couple certain aspects were there, and we could get the redesignation again.
Great.
So,
Awesome. Good. Some more accomplishments in band. Some of our athletic accomplishments. Middle school sports accomplishments. Some individual accomplishments. It still amazes me. We have national champions and placed this year, placed fifth. I mean, bass fishing. Just, I love it. Some other of our accomplishments and celebrations. A lot of this is our kids giving back to the community, which I think is very important to teach our young people. Some of our college signings. Transportation, bus rodeo. Of course, the really important one is our health inspections for our schools. All 7 schools scored a perfect 100 on all of their inspections. Also, and we'll talk about Shake It Up Schools and Vision 200 also in just a few minutes. And then we want to talk a little bit about our opportunity in our virtual academy, some of our current enrollment, and where they're coming from. One of the things that we have started on first offense, whereas sometimes we take them to a tribunal, we have come up with a contract system where we'll contract with the student, and if they meet the contractual terms, then they can earn their way back to the high school quicker. And also it's waiving the tribunal process that doesn't, it's like a first offender. And of course, if it's second offense, the same thing, we'll do a tribunal, but we're able to, some of the students that make some stupid mistakes occasionally, I will say stupid mistakes, it doesn't hurt them as bad as if it was going through a tribunal or something like that. So we're also, as we get into second semester, have where our students can earn their way to walk during graduation if they're at the alternative school. So so far it's been pretty successful with the behavior and attitude and motivation of some of our students over there now. Our virtual academy, we're in the process of trying to plan the implementation of some of our virtual academy. And of course, this is what some of the students that would benefit. And of course, we're hoping to increase our graduation rate by helping ensure that every one of our students in Pickens County has an opportunity to be successful in whatever area that will work for them Some of our students, we have permitted before at Ombudsman. Some of our kids are volunteer to go over there, and we got a few over there right now that does not want to leave. They like that small environment. They like the one-on-one almost instruction, and they're actually getting instruction now that we've taken it in-house. And so some students just don't like the school environment per se, and so we're hoping that not only with our alternative program there, but also through our virtual academy, that we'll be able to meet some of those needs also.
With the hospital homebound students, does the teacher still go out once or twice?
They will supervise that and go out, but we've always, although we've done hospital homebound and do it, I've never felt as to the level that it needed to be as the instruction in the classroom, especially the amount of time that we've gone out with a teacher. So we can provide more lessons and help that child stay better on grade level where they're at with our virtual cameras in Academy.
I just wondered if they were just on their own for that, or if the teacher
No,
still
we'll continue to send a teacher there to help monitor their success, and also to have somebody that they can contact if they have a question about something. Technology, this is our data as of the 28th. We currently have 4,346 students. That was this morning. I don't know if we lost any or gained any today. Yesterday afternoon. And the way they come and go, that number could change. Also, through our Central Enrollment Center, they tested and registered 225 incoming kindergartners, 70 pre-K. They registered 267 students in grades 1 through 12, completed 190 address changes, and they moved and maintained permanent records at all locations. They assisted with the master scheduling at the high school. They scheduled 3 elementary schools with over 1,500 students, 1 junior high, 700, and 1 middle school, 700 students. Some of the initiatives, implementing SRC Gateway, that's going to help us in a number of areas. One thing, it will be an online registration gateway that will allow parents and guardians to complete the enrollment process and paperwork, and then set an appointment to come in and not have to do all that paperwork in-house here. It will also allow parents first day of school paperwork to be completed electronically and then tracked instead of having to duplicate that. And it will also be digitizing all of our records. We're in the process of replacing teacher laptops, and we're also near the completion of classroom cameras and also the audio system. Chromebooks, we are going one-to-one at the high school. We're in the process of getting that ready, where instead of doing the carts and stuff, we're going to assign each a Chromebook to every student, and they'll be able to take it back and forth. Our iPads, we have ordered some replacement iPads, and they'll be here soon, but these will be to replace our oldest iPads, and or any of them that have been damaged or anything, but the majority of these iPads are targeted for our primary school. Great. Operations. School nutrition services. We participated in 2 state initiatives to help promote a variety of healthy and delicious food options. Shake It Up and 2020 Vision. The 2020 Vision is an initiative, a statewide initiative developed to promote our state's agricultural industry. And their goal is by 2020 to have at least 20% of the required menu components for our student meal to include Georgia-grown products, but we already meet that 20%, and we're striving to be one of the groups that reaches the 50% mark. Shake It Up, the other initiative that we're participated in, this initiative is to enhance the flavor of school meals and improve the perception of Georgia's school nutrition programs. All of our schools earned the gold level of recognition from the state for submitting a portfolio showcasing how they met the Shake It Up criteria and accomplishments. And all 7 schools received a perfect score on 100 on their annual health inspections. We served 496,968 lunches, 149,953 breakfasts, 42,208 after-school snacks. In the summer, this past summer, we served 10,561 student meals, and that's the reason we are here. Also, as far as fiscal responsibility, despite losing 9 days of school, and of course, when they lose 9 days, they're losing revenue, they were able to overcome those 9 days and still finish with a positive fund balance. The amount of delinquent charges left at the end of the school year was the lowest that we've ever had in the last four years. And we also had enough donations from the community for all free and reduced lunch student accounts were paid off by the end of the school year. We are receiving in October the Golden Danish Award. Radish, no. I need to look at it and then read it. That one too. It's going to be presented by a Danish person.
Tastes a lot better than a radish.
But we'll be receiving that in October. And looking ahead, we're expanding our breakfast program. We received a grant from the Atlanta Community Food Bank to purchase a mobile breakfast cart for the high school. Last year, we had less than 30% of our students having breakfast there at the school, but we plan to emphasize and increase that offering using our mobile cart. We're also expanding our lunch program, including participation to be focused as they try to increase the number of meals per day with some different kinds of ideas. Transportation. We currently have a fleet of 85 buses. 55 of them are air conditioned, 60 routes with 60 double routes. Now remember, that number has decreased from 12 earlier, so we're down to 6 double routes. We also will be receiving an award soon. It's a spotlight on exemplary efforts in school bus safety. A panel of judges select a winner based upon the application that's presented, and they evaluate various school safety factors. And those factors include all of that list. And they did 8 districts, and it was based upon enrollment size broken down into 8 different districts. And we are the winner of Division 5. And our representative from the Director of Facilities and Pupil Transportations will be here at our September board meeting to present our Transportation Department with the award. This is our East Block's timeline. I'm sure you can read it, but I'll also get you a hard copy of it. This is human resources. This is the number of personnel that we had last year compared to this year. If you'll notice, in certified staff, we're up about 9 positions, it looks like. But actually, 3 of those positions are at the high school, 2 are new pathways that we added, and 1 was our instructional lead strategist. We technically added, although it was a wash because we're not paying for the ombudsman program, but we did add a slot for 3 teachers there. And we've added 6 special education teachers. So if we took out all those new programs, we actually would be a difference of -3 compared to last year. But once we add those programs back in, it goes up. This slide shows our employee retention rate and turnover rate, and then the categories are broken down from retirees to just resignations. Recruiting and hiring, we're 3 less than last year is hiring, but every day that number kind of goes up a little bit, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes also. Safety and security. All of our safety plans are currently being reviewed by the Sheriff's Office and their representatives. There is a school safety meeting with the Sheriff, Director of Emergency Management, Fire Chief, myself, Assistant Superintendent, Director of Operations, our Board and County Attorney, our Sergeant over our SROs, and our Deputy Chief. We've got a meeting set up for September the 11th to review and develop the safety and security protocols for all schools, plan and schedule a major mock incident, and also to incorporate some of the latest information received from active shooter incident training. We're planning and scheduling a staff training for incidents that could lead to school lockdowns, not just an active shooter, but there's other instances that can occur that would cause us to go into a lockdown. And we are scheduling, we've already got some schools that have scheduled, but we're going to be scheduling with them, and when they do their lockdown drills, we'll have representatives from that group, Sheriff's Office, and also our emergency management to come and watch and participate in those drills. Just remind you of some of the things we've done. We've completely redone our entire radio system, which includes GPS tracking for all of our buses. That system is almost totally online. Almost everything's in place, but they've not thrown the switch yet, but we'll have that very shortly. We added the additional security cameras at all the campuses this past year. We've also in the process of adding all the cameras in the classroom with wearable emergency call buttons for teachers. We've increased the safety with adding some of our safety vestibules, but we've also secured entrances at all of our campuses. We've installed and are installing card readers on all campuses. We've gone to 6 SROs. We have one at the high school, one at PJ, one at JMS, one at Hill City. And right now, Tate and Harmony will share one. And then we have one floating supervisor, Sergeant Paget.
Have any of the teachers started using the in-classroom cameras yet?
I don't know if all of them have yet started. Anybody started yet? I know we're about a week or two away from.
We haven't got to the training yet.
We've got training next week. Is it the 5th?
The first training set is set up, then 2 weeks later, another one, and a couple weeks later, third.
Some of the schools, what did you have at Hill City, you already have like microphones in the classrooms.
Yes, we have them installed already, the speakers and the microphones. It's ready to go.
Because some of the teachers, I know in Ridge's classroom, and it's amazing. She was sitting at the back table and said, "Hello, Barry, good morning."
Oh, you know what, you're talking about the Red House sound field.
We've had those sound
Those
fields
are
for a number of
separate
years.
from-
Oh, okay, well, it was really neat.
Those are wonderful though, absolutely.
I mean, I could definitely see how that would improve instruction, because every child, it sounds like the teacher's right next to you. It was awesome.
Yes.
The difference in that system, this emergency button, that one doesn't have an emergency button on it, but the teachers, this emergency button, will identify where they're at. It won't just go, if they're in the lunchroom and press the button, it'll show them in the lunchroom and not in the classroom 220. So it'll help with some of that. We also added the Welcome Center. I talked to one of our Welcome Center greeters this afternoon, and she was surprised at the number of cars that start down Dragon Drive, and when they see the Welcome Center, turn around and leave. I know they counted 14 in the first 3 days. So, if they're turning around, I'm not saying they come to do something, but if they turn around and leave, I don't know why, but it's been effective so far, at least in that standpoint.
It's usually a sign of something.
Yeah, something's not right if they turn around and leave. We've also been able to secure most of our campuses with some fencing. I know we enclosed Jasper Middle School over here. We still have some PJ. We've got some issues that will be taken care of with construction, and of course you'll be getting all of those plans in the next couple of months on that construction, and we'll enclose that entire campus also. We will be adding safety and security. Oh, wait, back up. We have scheduled one session. We'll be scheduling more sessions to Stop the Bleed program. I know one of the things that we learned in active shooter training, incident management, the two things that the most dangerous things with any active shooter is the bad guy and time. And of course, the faster they put the bad guy down, time becomes the next critical thing. Is a lot of the victims died because they bleed out before they can get them the medical care necessary. Not only are we going to be working on being able to get it faster, but we're also going to train all of our staff and stop the bleed program so that they can, the ones that are in there with the staff, if they were to get hurt like that, would have somebody there trained to be able to help stop that bleed.
Have we, I know at one point we were talking about the first aid kits for each classroom. Are they in place now? Or
We don't have every one of them yet. Well, one of the things that we want to look at is the equipment necessary for the stop the bleed. We're also going to be placing safety and security equipment strategically housed on each campus in case there's an emergency. We also have safety and security protocols in a flip chart form that's being developed and will be distributed to all classroom personnel. And it's just a list of things. If there's a bomb threat, flip to this page. And the whole, as many instances that we can come up with. And we're developing policies and procedures to present to the school board that possibly at some point arm strategic personnel. Don't have lightning rods though. I hadn't thought about that. Graduation and life of preparation for all. Any questions about this part so far?
it's just when we're going through all the accomplishments and everything, when you put it all together like that, it's pretty impressive, I have to say. It's good.
We've got a pretty impressive school system. Do we need to improve on? Absolutely, we need to improve in a number of areas. But we've got some great students and some great staff members who are doing some great things that a lot of people just don't hear about.
Well, I like that insert, that newspaper insert that Ms. Show did. Like it was
Yes,
earlier in the summer.
yes.
I think it's good to let the community know all the good things.
And we'll be adding some of this to that too. Let's see, what else do we have other than just a presentation? I know I handed out some of the brochures that she also completed. And let's see.
I believe that's everything we want. Next item looks like executive session. I will make a move that we go into executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action or dismissal, or periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee, or to interview applicants for the position of superintendent. Here a second.
I'll second.
Second.
Someone else will stay in there for
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.